Hey everybody, Texas Danny, coming to you from the Pizza Parlor in North Texas. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, that's Greenland. That's the west coast of Greenland. On the opposite side is something that's equally telling. But there you go, as far as a picture. Take a look at that, everybody. Greenland is going at it. We're busy all the way across the board. We have Mexico in action. We have the Gulf of California in action. We have southern Arizona, southern New Mexico. Of course, northern Mexico, central Mexico, all of Mexico, Baja California. Well, I want you to take a look at what we got going on here in Southern California. As the continent is moving east in quantum fashions, doing quantum mechanics movements, not Newtonian, quantum mechanics. We're going east, okay? And this is causing some separation. It's causing the widening of the Gulf of California. It's causing those actions in around Mexicali, Mexico, Calexico, the Salton Sea. We have movement in and around Los Angeles, north of Los Angeles. We have a lot of movement going up even into the valley. The valley is moving in California. Go from Taft to San Andreas Fault. Go up to San Francisco. You've got action everywhere. You've got action all up and down the North American West Coast. Everywhere. I mean, all up and down the North American West Coast. You've got things going on, of course, in Alaska, the Canadian coast, British Columbia. That's a lot of water in there, folks, a lot of water. And those actions are coming down and over into Alberta from British Columbia, down into Oregon and Washington and Idaho, Montana. We have actions in the western part of the United States, the west coast of the United States. We have activity with California. California's busy, everybody. San Francisco, the Bay Area, right in through there is busy. A lot of things going on with San Francisco. My reality, my timeline, much smoother, and this would have been up in that direction. You would have been pushing the entire peninsula up northwest. Would have been straightened out. It's coming down now. See all those actions? Data Junkie has done some looking around in here before herself. She's taken a look, but you can see why California and San Francisco and the San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland, San Jose, all that is busy. Again, I grew up in California. I grew up in Los Angeles up until the mid-1970s. And we have changes in and around Los Angeles, north of Los Angeles, Bakersfield, the entire San Fernando Valley, the California Central Valley. We have changes to northern California, southern Oregon, the Willamette Valley going up into Oregon, the Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington area has a lot of changes. I grew up also in Clark County, Washington, okay? That and Skamania County seem like a broken plate. The southern end is just broken off in there. Puget Sound is closed up and gotten smaller. Olympia's moved over, changes to Seattle. We have the Cascade Mountain Range going east. I repeat, we've got the Cascade Mountain Range going east, and we've got a lot of declination in the central area valleys of Washington State. Right into this area right here that you see here. There's a lot of changes in here. A lot of activity right up here. We're going to see some changes in the southeast Oregon, northern Idaho, California. We have a lot of moisture coming up into Idaho, and this is doing a lot of effects because it's affecting the Yellowstone area. Okay, we have buildup just north of Yellowstone. We have changes to Montana. My reality, my timeline, the counties in eastern Montana were bigger because they were kind of scattered out in size. Here they're more to geographical features because the area is smaller. We have changes coming into the grasslands here, far eastern Wyoming, western South Dakota. You have the Thunder Basin grasslands are in quantum actions. We have Devil's Towers, which has moved. We seemingly have a lot of activity, everybody, into North Dakota, South Dakota, small bank, and Nebraska and Kansas. We're also busy right into Texas. Texas is busy. It's got a lot of action out west. All this is coming off the Continental Divide, and it's going into Kansas, and it's going into Nebraska. We're having effects going out to the Mississippi. We have effects into the Great Lake areas. Those are also very busy. So we have that going on. Florida, we have a lot of changes there. Changes to the Yucatan right here. The Gulf of Mexico, Florida, Cuba, the Honduras Tract, and the Barbados Tract is also busy. The Barbados Tract is doing a lot of effects on the north area of Brazil, and you see eastern Brazil is just opening up and creeping out because South America and Africa are heading towards each other. You see these activities right here in the Central Island. Channel Islands or Central Islands, whichever ones they're named this week. Saunders Island is in there. Heading up there to what I call the Angola Tract, which is having quite a bit of effects because we have East Africa apparently kind of opening up right now. You have effects going into Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Tanzania. You have Lake Victoria, which has actions going on with it. You have Ethiopia, Somalia. You have Quantum Islands in the southern Red Sea. The Red Sea is active. The Valley of the Kings going all the way up into the Suez is active. And you see we have Crete coming down towards Africa, or Africa going up towards Crete, whichever one you want. The Med is closing up. The Aegean is active. And of course we have the Geneva Wave in Europe, which is basically the Alps, which I base off of Geneva. I call it the Geneva Wave. And this area with all that snow and everything like that, H2O being a prime element, has everything it needs to when it wants to get active there. We again have the coast of northern Africa. We have the UK and Ireland very busy, Iceland, and again back over to Greenland. Northern Russia, the Nordics, and very important, besides focusing on the Mediterranean, with Greece and Turkey in great movements. Like again, the Mediterranean is closing. The Suez has a lot of water coming into it. The activity right in central Saudi. We have Basra, and we have Aleppo opening up. We have Iran and Afghanistan in actions. We've got a lot of geometric kind of gravitational flow through here. But as you see, we've got the Caspian going down, and we've had a lot of changes in this area in northern Orion, and the Caspian is primed for Central Asia. If you take a look at all of Central Asia, you see how this line is getting ready to move in there, and we have effects going on right now as we've got a lot of new lakes coming into Mongolia. We have this great western desert. This used to be the Mongolian desert for me. Mongolia was shaped more or less like that. It was just more or less this area. But this, we have new lakes coming into these areas all through here. This is where your prime movements are going to be set for Asia. You have Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet. A lot of actions are going to take place there. You're going to have a lot of stuff coming out of Afghanistan, Pakistan, into India. You're going to have a lot of effects in India. And we have, of course, great concerns for Southeast Asia. Earth's most heavily populated part is right through in here. You have Australia down here, you have Indonesia, the Philippines, and we have New Zealand taking off by itself. New Zealand's almost a satellite right now. New Zealand just keeps, it's like this, everybody. Prior timeline, prior realities for some people, New Zealand would have been right up here where Fiji is. It's now many, many hundreds of miles south, and it's moving even further out by its own. You have Tasmania accompanying it right here. You have all the actions and events that are going on around Antarctica. Antarctica is very, very busy, but Earth is very, very busy as well. We have the Marianas Trench, which is of concern because, again, that's coming off of Asia, Indonesia, the Philippines, those areas, Southeast China, these areas, Taiwan, Japan, of course, the Koreas, and far western Russia. But as you can see from Lake Baikal, going out right here, these actions, Lucky Bulger did a video on this a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, 2018 or 2019, I think, somewhere in there. And we did not have these geographical developments going out north and east of Lake Baikal and reaching out all the way to the Pacific. This area right here is in actions, swinging out, as is Alaska. We have a lot of movements. We have a lot of activity taking place, everybody. We have a lot of subaquatic activity. This area is of great concern right here. We have southern Chile to be looking at. As you can see, also in Bolivia is showing where a lot of the action is as South America is being pushed, as you can see. South America is being pushed east. Lake Titicaca, that's moved hundreds of miles south from where it used to be. Peru's coastline has changed. The subaquatic activity out there going through Central America, again out to the Gulf of Mexico, back up to California. You see where the changes are coming into California here. Southern California. We're going east, everybody. The continent is being moved east, and we're going with it. And subsequently, elevation and the landmass is going in every possible direction. And that's why you've got a lot of push into Nebraska and Kansas. North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma and Texas have got a lot of going on to it, but primarily the big movement coming off the Continental Divide is going into Nebraska and Kansas. Swinging out, going east, let's go down to Missouri, and of course we have actions in the Great Lakes. Canada as well is very active. But this is the place we've got to look at, because this runoff right through here has been substantial, very quick. These are quantum actions. These are not Newtonian actions, despite what the narrative is that we have going on right now. Look at the runoff that we have off that coastline. When I look at it with the naked eye too, I see a lot of blotches. I see a lot of erratic pitch light qualities when I look directly at the screen with my naked eyes. We didn't have Svalbard in my reality. We had an Arctic cap up there, so the whole thing would have been iced over. Again, Greenland would have been hundreds of miles further southeast, south-southeast, 700 miles, 800 miles, something like that. So when it would have been out there, and you would have had about 13 times this size area in white up there, maybe about 15 times more like it. But again, we have changes. We have changes to the UK between London and Manchester. And we have the Nordics in quite a bit of activity, especially Norway, but it's also going down into Sweden. And we have changes that are going to be coming all the way up into northern Russia here. Lake Uves, Lake Baikal. These changes are going to be going because we're going to be going in every direction. But this is the primary place to look at right now, as we have the Mediterranean with the Black Sea and the Caspian. And it's primed and set to have its actions in Central Asia. Those actions are also going to be prompted coming out of the Channel Islands or Central Islands, whatever they're called this week. This area right through here, right? You draw a line up through it and you come up into Africa. You've got your continental split right up through here, East Africa. You're also going to have actions in the Sahara, some split there. Actions in Central Saudi, Iran and Afghanistan, back up into Central Asia, going back into Siberia, Japan, the Marianas Trench, out to Hawaii, and over to the American West Coast and the South American West Coast. We have changes in and around New York. A lot of changes going on with New York lately. Constant changes with New York City and New York State. But the Northeast is active. Washington, D.C. is active. Our Great Lakes areas are active. Canada, of course, have got actions. We've had some changes out here to the Maritimes. Nova Scotia used to be out by itself. Our Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia used to be its own islands, the Maritimes. Again, everyone, we have changes to the Mid-Atlantic, east coast of the United States of America. Florida is our quantum champ for small changes. I get dizzy if I look at Florida. A lot of brave quantum affected living in Florida. Imagine after putting up with everything that you have to see in Florida, with the quantum changes all the time in Florida. We got them here in Texas, but I don't think they're as thick as they are in Florida right now, because Florida's got so much of that water element that's needed. Okay, Texas Danny out for right now. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.